Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mario Kart tier list series. We're on part 5 now, so we're on the 5th Mario Kart game, which is Mario Kart DS. My first Mario Kart, so a lot of experience. Last time I was going through a lot of tracks. So yeah, I'm ready to get this ranking done. This one's probably going to be the most interesting one, just because the actual tracks are very similar, besides obviously graphical differences to the actual originals. They didn't go all out with the changes. Whereas the nitros are very good and hold up really well to this day. So we're gonna have DS tracks all over the place. This will probably be the only one where we'll get tracks from one game every tier really. We still might not, but I'll actually go down slowly through all those. Gone through obviously the first game, Super Circuit N64, and last video we did Double Dash. Yeah, starting out with Figure 8 Circuit. Get in there. You know, it's intentionally a generic track in a stadium with typical Figure 8. And I think that has some charm, in its own weird way. But it doesn't make it good, does it? Yeah, I don't care for it. Because DS's its drifting is so fun. It can make straightaways actually enjoyable, but yeah, the tracking great is it. I will put it above Beach Gardens and Marriage Circuit 1 still, because at least this track is intentionally just basic. And even it's still better to play on than the past games, so yeah, actually above this Marriage Circuit as well, really. As you got Yoshi Falls, and I I actually like this track. Yeah, there's a hot take. I think the track's pretty decent. I know it's just an oval shape. Again, a pretty generic shape for a track, and it's just pretty generic oval. But I do like the theming. I like the little sections where you can just go on the planks. And there's a lot of speed boost going on, and there's basically two little paths because one's sloped down, and there's the waterfall bit. And a mushroom, you can just do a shortcut there. You can even go through without a mushroom, and it's kind of cool. The waterfall is a very unique feature, despite the track being pretty generic, that manages to make this track interesting. And I like the speed boost. Again, it's fun to drift on. Again, and yeah, that's it. There's an egg in the middle just to justify naming after Yoshi. So yeah, it's not anything incredible. It's still a meh track, but it's fun to drive on. I'd say I think the raceway tracks are more enjoyable, but I think it's above Mario and even Yoshi Valley. At least the N64 version of Yoshi Valley, which is pretty meh. So yeah, we'll stick it there. We got a lot of tracks to go. We got 32 tracks. This is the most we've got in a video, so try to be quick, especially since I see people are more familiar with these tracks anyway. Cheap Cheap Beach, we're getting to some really good ones now. Cheap Cheap Beach is very good. As a kid, I loved it. It's not as great as I remember, but it's still solid. It's definitely a solid track. I like the theming, you got this pier you go through, and then it's a big jump that takes you onto the beach section. I love the tracks that have a section that's a beach, but the entirety of it isn't. There's bits of water you can actually drive through, and the shore kind of comes up, but it slows you down, so you gotta try and avoid it. However, if you have a mushroom, you can basically treat it as a shortcut. It's very interesting how this game treats has these unique stuff, the water, how it's kind of off-road in a way, but obviously has its own unique functions, And there's other examples of this, the mud in Luigi's Mansion, which we'll get to, which are interesting. I don't think they've aged the best, but I do appreciate the uniqueness it allows, and the beach bit's pretty cool. There's always I thought the lighthouse is more involved, and I playing 8 Deluxe version. I was oh, that's it. It isn't as good as the 8 Deluxe version, but they're very similar. This one, obviously, you can't go deep into the water. But yeah, you get to the beach, get through the beach bit, and you have a forest bit to go through, which has some nice turns, and then you go back to the finish line, which I like the touch of it being a volleyball net. It's just a very cool theme, you know. Like the music and everything, it's all solid, very solid. It's obviously not one of the greatest tracks, but there is nothing wrong with Cheap Cheap Beach. It's an iconic track for me as well. I think. I don't know whereabouts it goes. That's the thing. I think it's like normal solid because we got like low solid tier here. There's a lot of tracks here, but like once we get through late games, this will all be like the lower section. You know, I think it's like next to Sherbet Land in terms of just genuine solidness. You know, because I like the others for own reasons. It was very good. Actually, no. I think behind Peach, but oh, actually no. It's supposed to be above Peach, but I'll leave it at that. Obviously, Peach is another beach track. They're completely different tracks, but you know, it's another example of a track that like goes from one section to a beach area, which is cool. And it's got Luigi's Mansion, a fan favorite track that isn't actually that good, honestly. So the mansion bit is cool, but it's like 2 turns and you're already out of it. It is not the main part of the track, which is very unfortunate. Which is why I like Twisted Mansion more. Which is my hot take, that Twisted Mansion's just a Luigi Mansion, but better. Really, obviously the tracks are different, but if we're looking at Mansion being track, Twisted Mansion from Mario Kart 8 is so much better. But yeah, this one isn't bad or anything. Again, I like the track, it's just not as moment, like, because most of it is just this pretty boring, like, section with, like, I like the trees that move, like the living trees, those are cool. They can be annoying though, sometimes. And this is where we get the mud, which like slows you down, but like it's not like off road or anything, like because it's you can't avoid it in certain bits, but it slows you down, but you can still like drift and stuff. And then you need to get to like the grass bits to try and stay on those bits to go faster. It's a neat idea, but then it just makes like a messy and pretty ugly part of the track, and that's like half the track right there. You know, when the mansion should have more focus. Because after that you do some turns and you into mansion. I do like the mansion bit where you go through this carpet area, you do some turns, lots of paintings on the wall, which fits Luigi's Mansion, obviously. And then you go around this table bit, which is a bit whatever, you know. Should have done some more. Because you just go out the exit there, and you're into the graveyard bit, which the graveyard bit's cool, and then after that takes you to the mud bit. And that's it. You know, so it's not as exciting as you'd expect from Luigi's Mansion, especially since how popular it is, and obviously the name. You think it'd be more mansion based, right? But no, not really. It's just more so a gross swamp. But I still think it's a solid track, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, it's still solid. But how solid is the question, you know? I think it's above DK Mountain. I actually like the beach tracks more. I think to drive on, they're just a lot better. So yeah, that's my spicy take. And again, this isn't a bad spot for it. Besides, still decent. But I'm just saying it's not as good as other people think. I have that take for another track. I'll get to go soon. I think got Desert Hills, and another spicy take is that Desert Hills is good. It's like really fun to drive on. The theming of like how it's got like classic retro 2D Mario like references going on, like the background stuff. That's really cool, and it gives it its own unique identity. Obviously, it's got like the same like spiky creatures going on, like a Dry Desert. I can't remember their names still. Fuck. But yeah, they're cool. They make fun obstacles. You have some good drifts. Like the layout for this track is really good. The music fucking slaps. And the hills are actually cool because you have this one section with some very sharp turns, but you can use the mushrooms to get on these off-road hills, and it's really cool when you do that. You know, I love this Oasis bit, which is just like a little background detail. But actually, if it was brought back in a future game, you could turn out to like a little shortcut bit where you go underwater. That has so much potential. This track could easily be one of the best desert tracks for just a remake. And I still think it is one of the best in general, but it could be even better. Maybe even the best. Like, this is not a bad track, and it deserves more respect. Everyone makes fun of it. I don't get it. I know about like desert tracks in general. I never properly understood that, and I don't get it with this one because it's one of the more interesting ones. Um, I think it's another solid track. You know, I like it more than it. Like in terms of driving on it, I think the theme of Cheap Cheap Beach and Luigi's Mansion for that matter are a lot better. But I still think it's more fun to drive on. It's like um, well, part of the double dash circuits. You know, I do quite like it. Um, Next, you got Delfino Square, and that's another great track. I think we're going straight to the next tier with this one. Oh, I managed to get one way. You go and put that back. Oh, what am I doing? God. So yeah, Delfino Square, you know, it's another fan favorite. Doesn't really need no introduction. It's based on obviously Delfino Plaza, Sunshine, which is cool. You even got to search for that one guy, like that species. That's like the resident that place. I got a name. But it's really cool, like town theme, you know. There's some really dope shortcuts. One, like you can just jump off the fucking track and go over the water, and a pretty big jump. It's quite hard to pull off, and then land on like the pier, and then you can go back up and thing back to the main track. That's so cool. And there's also another one where you go through like this off-road muddy alleyway, which is really cool. I just really like the layout and everything in this track. There's so much neat stuff, like that bridge that goes up and you get like the boost rounds. So much off-road potential as well, you know, just in general, you got like these crashy bits. And obviously the theme is just very good. It's great. I think it's like, I definitely like it more than Waluigi Stadium and Rainbow Road from Double Dash. Cruiser and Bridge. I'm gonna put above Cruiser, just because I think to drive on, Delfino Square is really good, just because of all like the options you have. But Daisy Cruiser, it's just pretty like one way something. As fun as the theme is. Next we got for arguably the most popular Mario Kart track is Waluigi Pinball, and Waluigi Pinball is solid. It's not bad at all, you know, absolutely not. But there's no like off-road shortcuts. The actual layout isn't like the greatest. I like the pinballs, obviously all the obstacles. The main section with all the flippers and stuff is chaos. It's great. The music fucking bangs. It's the best Mario Kart track. Like, did a 10 out of 10 theming. No, 11 out of 10 theming. But the track itself, the race on, could have a lot more. And there's like a beta version which has like a lot of like obstacles and shit, and it's pretty cool. I don't think it would have worked. I think the pinball mesh works better, but it gives you the thought of, hey, there could be more going on in the track itself. It's more just like visual appeal, you know. And obviously the graphics are aged at best for this one, but it's still cool. And there's not a lot of exciting things you can do when racing on the track. And it's not like every track needs that, but I think it's still like, yeah, it's still a great track, definitely. I don't think it's amongst the best, though. That's my hot take. It's definitely great, though. And yeah, I think it's like Daisy Cruiser in that regard, where, you know, great theming, but one of this. We'll put it over Daisy Cruiser. Square and Bridge are just a lot more fun to drive on, so I'll keep them above Pinball. But yeah, Pinball don't really need an introduction. I don't really need to say anything else now, do I? Well, the beta things, yeah. There was another one, like the earliest one was Luigi Pinball, probably based on the N64 DS port for Mario 64. I said that wrong, but whatever. Where you had the mini games in Luigi owns a fucking casino. So that would have been interesting, and it makes sense. And I'm guessing they switched to Waluigi just because Waluigi's not a track, and Luigi has a lot of tracks, including the new Luigi's Mansion for that game. So yeah, that's a fun fact. Next we got Shroom Ridge, and fuck yeah, I am a Shroom Ridge stan. It's just alright in DS though. And it's a lot of fun to drive on in Arcade Deluxe. I'm so happy they put in a DLC. What it is a huge shock when it came out. I'm so happy to have it. DS version always loved as a kid, but it's like, so I really like the cars obstacles in DS. I think it does it the best here. There's a lot of neat stuff going on. There's not like the bomb cars or anything as crazy, but it's just like, because of how nice the drifting feels, like drifting between the cars in DS is so satisfying. And if you have a bunch of mushrooms, you could do this really great off-road section on the second half to save a bit of time after this really nice turn. Like, this is one of the best Mario Kart track layouts in history. And you go over that section and you got like a nice tunnel, and you come back out on the other side. So again, it's pretty simple, but it's very good. And I think that gives it like, it's at least a high solid, you know. It's like up here. Above Sugar. Yeah, we'll put it at the top. And you know what? Try Desert Hills, fucking hell. Desert Hills, I mean. Yeah, I'm gonna stick it above the N64 tracks. Fuck it. Stand Desert Hills. There's a DK Pass, and this is a popular track, but I don't think it gets enough credit. In my opinion, it's one of the best tracks to drive on. There's also off-road potential. There's like really cool, unique obstacles, like the big boulders that fall off the side of the cliff. There's no track, but it's not like an icy path, and you know, it was the ice pits and DS, alright. But yeah, it's just a very nice, chill theme. There's not really any TK theming, I'll admit. But it's fun. There's nothing wrong with that. The Snowy Mountain theme is unique for the time. Yeah, I just really like it. It's just a great layout, a great track. Yeah, I just think it's very fun. And a shout out to the mission in DS, because the mission mode was cool. I'm not as crazy as most people are, but I liked the mission where you like race Donkey Kong backwards on DK Pass. That's an iconic mission. I think it just deserves some points for that. But yeah, it's just a really solid track to drive on. My favourite to drive on. I really wish we'd be getting this in 8 Deluxe, but it doesn't seem like we are. If we are getting one in DK Summit, aka DK Snowboard Cross, which, in my opinion, and this is probably a hot take as well, that is the weaker version of DK Mountain track, you know, like the Snowy Mountains at least. There's obviously also DK Mountain, which actually feels Donkey Kong theme because it's in a jungle. Yeah, DK Pass is my favourite to drive on. I don't know if that's nostalgia or but like I go out to play on it, and yeah, it's one of the greatest to race on in DS. I really think it's not the most design theme again, because it's just like the Snowy Mountains, which is cool, but yeah, it's not as standout. But I still think it's a great track. I think it goes here, yeah, between Delfino Square and Orange Triangle, because Delfino Square has both like what I like in a track, you know, phenomenal layout, lots of stuff going on, while simultaneously keeping up a very good theme. Not that DK Pass theme is bad, but yeah, one of the greatest themes, is it? So yeah, and Mushroom Bridge is just so fucking solid. Wait to see my ranking on Mushroom Bridge in this game. TikTok Clock. Now, I was never a fan of this track, or at least I was never fond of it. I don't know. I remember when I got a Deluxe, so it was like when I first got my Switch. I might as well, sorry, even though obviously I'm not ranking Deluxe. It's just a story that's just popped in my head. You know, so when I got like a Deluxe, I didn't know like all the tracks in it or anything. I hadn't like looked too deeply into it. I hadn't looked too deep into any of the Switch games I was getting. I was just asked, hey, you want a Switch? I was like, sure. I was like, I'll pick up like some games for it. I'm like, well, Mario Kart, that's just a no-brainer. You know, like there was no specific reason why I wanted it. I just wanted a Mario Kart because I'm getting a Nintendo console. It just makes sense. And this is like 2019, December, for Christmas. Um, and yeah, so I had no idea about like the roster or like the tracks really. And yeah, I like seen Tick Tock Clock and I was like, why would they make that of all DS tracks? The 8 version of Tick Tock Clock actually fucking bangs though. Still not one of my favorites, but I will admit that one's pretty good. But this one, nothing is showing. I like the idea of like the inner clock works, like based on like just a Mario 64 level. Like that's very cool, you know, basing it just on a whole level in a 3D Mario game. I like that. The thing is, I've never actually liked how like the inside like Tick Tock Clock looks, you know, I don't like the looks and everything look good, but even then, it's kind of a mess, you know, because it's just a racetrack, so it doesn't really make sense. It's just kind of all over the place. And this one, like the inside doesn't even look like a clock. It's just like you're in a big wooden box, if anything. Obviously, the clock thing here on the track, that's definitely a clock, and like you like the obstacles, like you can go around or you can just go straight through the middle, which is probably quicker. But also you gotta watch out for like the clock hands, which obstacles in this game, which is interesting. Never an exciting though. And then outside that, and you got like the spinning gears, which is cool, I guess. It doesn't really do much, and that's about it, you know. And obviously there's like there's the gear. There's also the gears that you can like go off like ramps, which I like those. And that's about it for this one. The music is not good in this, in the DS version. The remix in Mario Kart Deluxe is another banger again. Like you're a fan of this track, go back to the DS one, you know, and yeah, you'll probably realize it's not the best, you know. It's just not exciting. I don't think it's like it hasn't fulfilled the potential of like a clock track. It's just kind of chuck some clocks and some gears around, and then outside that is pretty boring. Like the theming, very unique. Playing on the track, yeah, not a fan. Because I did this last night, I was surprised by how just shit the track is of race on. It really hasn't aged that well. And usually for the DS Nitro tracks, that's a rarity. So I think it gets like top of bad tier, you know, because I will admit the theming's so good. But yeah, it's just not like interesting to actually race on, you know. And again, it doesn't look appealing, so the theming kind of like falls apart there. It's more of like a, hey, I like the concept, I hope it gets remade and made better, which Mario Kart 8 did, and I'm happy with that. But this version, I do think it's bad. It's the best bad track we've seen. But yeah, and I'm going to get fucking slaughtered for putting Yoshi Falls above this. But whatever. Next is DS Mario again. Oh, another Mario Circuit track. Fucking hell. I have literally no opinions on this one. It is just a no Mario Circuit. You got like the random like fucking pipe tunnel thing that you can't actually do anything with. You got the shape around obstacles that aren't even obstacles because they're just off road. So they're just kind of there. The layout is boring. It is like it's just a slightly weaker version of the GameCube Double Dash. Which, fun fact, you know, in the files, one of the beta tracks for I got DS, and it's pretty much a complete track. It's only missing like off-road like functionality. You know, like the off-road's there, but like you can just race on it normally. It doesn't slow down, so they haven't incorporated those mechanics. And I definitely had like the Gumbas, and that was it. They've got a complete version of GameCube's Mario Circuit in DS, which is interesting. I'm glad. I don't know why it wasn't included because yeah, I just thought it was complete. You could have just chucked it in anyway. But I mean, GameCube actually chose with a lot more exciting. The Mario Circuit, because the Mario Circuit is the weakest one. And yeah, this is just another Mario Circuit again. Look at that. Look at the icons. They just look the same, except like the DS was more pixelated. There is just nothing interesting this. And when we had Figure 8 Circuit, and I need to state this, Mario Kart DS has 7 circuit tracks. It would have been 8 if we not the fucking Mario Circuit, another Mario Circuit. One of the Retro Track cups, has a whole ass 3 circuit tracks. And apologies if the cups are out of order. I think they're in order so far, but some got like mixed up. You know, like Wario's team is at like the bottom of the list for some reason. Or like the list of the ones I haven't ranked. So it's kind of all over the place. I think I sorted it out. I can't remember though. I haven't really seen. I've just been going around with whichever's next time I really pay attention. But I digress. Yeah, it's just another Mario Circuit. It's meh. Okay, it's like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a track that doesn't need to exist. Next up was Airship Fortress, and let's fucking go. Another banger. It's a very good layout. Again, it's one that doesn't really have shortcuts, but has like one of the greatest themes. But the thing is, I think it has like a very fun layout. You know, they start with a straightaway, but the straightaway is good because you have like these bullets like that just get fired from the ship at you, and that's very unique. And you all like drift past them or whatever, just avoid them in general. They're not like crazy hard obstacles, but yeah, you gotta stay on your toes for them. And then like you fall out of slow section and you do some turns, which is cool. I obviously always like the ones where you do a turn and you go straight to another turn. Then it like takes you onto this little bridge that gets you onto the ship itself, and you get like the Monty moles that like pop out. And like that's fun. That's a nice callback to obviously the Mario games that included those ships. And then like you go into the ship itself, you go in like this weird like fire torch room. There's more obstacles. Again, it keeps racing on the track itself exciting. You like blast out a cannon, and there's like this big like spiral area on like this broken fortress again. And you come out from the bar, and I like this because there's no DS track that does this, and you don't really see it outside of these two examples. The other one is Bowser Castle in this game, where you have like a tower with like a spire that you just like can just drift around. Like that's very cool, and it's wide enough that you can like keep drifting. And again, DS has very fun drift physics. Not that I like snaking as a meta, but offline it's just fun to fuck around with. And then you come out, and then you have like another turn, and back to the straightaway that takes you to the finish line. You know, that is very great. And yeah, it's so perfect that there's literally nothing that needs to be changing. It's perfect. It is fantastic. You know, I think it might be deserving of being in the best. It might be the best one we have so far. Yeah, fuck it. I'm saying it is. I think it's one of the best, and it's like the most popular track besides like Orange Pinball seemingly. There's one more DS track we don't know about when the boost calls pass. There might be some unlisted, but we have one guaranteed one alongside Peach Gardens, which is an odd pick. I'll get to my thoughts on Peach Gardens in a bit, but yeah, I really want Airship Fortress. I think it's the best theme, me personally. And again, driving on it's such a good track. And again, like I mentioned, like with these tracks, they seem to have like it's one or the other thing. Not that like the other's bad, but it's less interesting to go. Where one is like a fantastic theme, but the track itself, it's okay, or vice versa. But Airship Fortress and Delfino Square, albeit Airship Fortress a lot more so, it just nails both. There's no shortcuts or anything, but just the main course itself manages to keep you engaged throughout it, and there's just so many different sections. Like, it's fantastic. It definitely deserves to be in the best tracks. I hope we get in DLC. I really hope we do. Next is Peach Gardens. Oh, speaking of, something's gone wrong here. Wario Stadium is nowhere to be found. How's it gone back to the bottom? Well, I'm pretty sure Warrior Stadium's like the start of the special. So actually, we'll talk about Warrior Stadium first. I like Warrior Stadium. Um, I'm a big Walu. I'm a big fan of stadium tracks like Waluigi and Warrior Stadium. Not the N64 Warrior Stadium had shit. This surpasses it in every way. Besides the theme, they're actually completely different tracks and whatnot. Lots of big panels and stuff, lots of like bumps, which isn't that interesting. Like I said, I don't particularly care that much for like jumps and shit were in like the games before Wii because you can't trick off them. So yeah, we're not crazy. As long as it works, like Desert Hills again, like I like the bumpiness and stuff like that. Here doesn't work too well, but it's still very solid. And you see here, there's like a lot of boost pounds. The layout's great. You got like a lot of good turns. Yeah, it's just very solid. It's I don't think it reaches great stars just yet. You know, its potential isn't fulfilled yet. You know, it's a Shroom Ridge situation. I do think in this game it's more exciting than Shroom Ridge, though. It's definitely living at the top of solid tracks. See, like the nitros in TS, overall just very solid. Besides like a handful of boring ones. It's really great, you know. And again, some of them, because of the limitation of the DS, you know, it takes remakes to properly master them. But like all the ones we've just gone through are great tracks. Now, Peach Gardens, not really as interesting as a theme as a lot of the ones we just covered at all, really. I say that I do kind of like it. Yeah, it's kind of like a Mario 64 thing where they basically turn like, at least for one part, they turn like the little hedge maze bit into like just a whole massive section, and that's cool. You know, like the idea of just being a piece, that's cool. I think people are more interested in going into Peach's castle for once. You know, I think that's what people have been wanting more. But yeah, Peach Garden is still cool. A Peach track is nice. The one that isn't Peach Circuit. So good. Peach Beach is a good rep for Peach, but also it's not Peach themed at all. It's not even set in the Mushroom Kingdom. It's in fucking Delfino. Whatever. I won't question it. But yeah, Peach Garden's great. I like the little Mario statue. Which probably Snowland just has the same one, but they changed the texture, which is funny. No, like, it has kind of an odd start though, like you see this bit where the statue is, which is cool. But it's like circuit bit. There's no point going around it, but you can, and I feel like they should have thought of a purpose for that, like maybe get like iron boxes or something. Now because it's been leaked and it's down, gonna be in the next Deluxe wave. And I'm actually happy with the pick. It's no surprising one, like a Shroom Ridge. And while it's definitely not one of my favourites from this game, I think it slots into a Deluxe a lot better than the others. And I think there's a lot of interesting ways they could potentially organize it. Like, you know, I hope they actually add something, a glide ramp or some shit, to justify the back part. Because, again, this is one that's solid, but yeah, it has untapped potential, and I'm hoping that A Deluxe does fulfill it. I really hope they do to justify picking this. Because if they make it too samey to the original, then I won't get its inclusion. Because again, this theming isn't as interesting as the others. The layout again, like I just mentioned, there's some flaws like that turn. The maze bit is a really neat concept. I got to change something like you can like try and risk getting the iron boxes and attach their chain. Problem is, like, the maze is actually very wide, and like the chain tunnels don't feel like massive obstacles. There's only like two of them in there. As long as you just completely miss them, you will most of the time. And maze itself is like kind of like shop like turn in. It's actually, I like the idea. It's very unique. Like it's just this big space with like a bunch of different routes. Obviously, the chain shops, like I said, very unique. But again, I don't think it works that well in this one. I think we did a lot better with it, even though it's the same thing. I just think a different like gameplay style helps. Would help this one. There's a lot of off-road stuff, and I feel like some good shortcuts, which is obviously nice. Probably if you're not taking a shortcut, it's kind of like some odd turns. You know, again, I think there's a lot of potential with this layout, but it just feels very rough with the S controller. It hasn't aged the best. You go for like this one bit, you go through basically this patio section, I guess, of Peach's garden, and you turn back around, you go to the finish line. As was a straightaway, there's nothing really exciting going on there. Unfortunately, again, I'm really hoping they do something with this, but it's solid. I know I've been very critical there, but I still think it's solid overall. It's not bad at all. I just think more could be done. So yeah, I'm probably chucking it Pine Desert Hills. I think Desert Hills is a lot more of a solid track to race on. Peach Gardens, again, probably is a better theme than Desert Hills, so I will give it that much. A decent theme, albeit it's kind of overshadowed by a lot of the other incredible themes like Airship Fortress, Waluigi Pinball, Luigi Mansion, Athena Square, so on. Yeah, Bowser Castle on DS, a pretty underrated Bowser Castle. My favourite Bowser Castle along the 3DS Bowser Castle, which is another underrated Bowser Castle. This one's so great and it's so iconic to me. I have so much nostalgia for this track. It's one of my most nostalgic tracks. Just after you go into like Bowser's mouth into the castle, obviously that's a classic way to start Bowser Castle at this point, and I love to see it. It's always a great start. Go up the red carpet. There's some like different past stuff. Like one, you go through like this weird like curved room, and there's like this conveyor belt kind of, which can slow you down. And there's also this balcony bit you can go to, or you can like cut through this one corridor. I don't even know how to probably describe it, but if you play the track, you know just what I'm on about. And eventually it takes you out of the castle into like this kind of like courtyard area, but it's got this like weird, I don't know the reasoning for it, but it's like a spiral bridge, and it like spins around constantly, and it's very interesting, you know. And if you fall down, you drop to the courtyard bit, which is a lot slower, but you eventually can make it back to the main bit. So you have to try and like work to stay on what this thing. But if you fall off, it's not like you've gone out of bounds. You know, it's like you're intentionally expected to possibly fail at this a lot. So much so that they have like an order around, which again, that's a unique thing. And then they also have like a section where you go up like another like spiral thing with like a tower. And it comes after. What part does that does that part of the track even come in? I missed it. It's been a while. I didn't play it last night. But yeah, then you get to this section with like these moving rates. They don't actually move that much. But like it's above like a bunch of lava, and that's kind of cool. And I guess it's kind of reminiscent of like the classic like GBA Bowser castles. So I could appreciate that little blend, and it's not long enough to like really detract from like the main castle bit. It's not like Luigi Mansion in that regard. You eventually get back to the finish. You know, again that like that final level bit, it's not that exciting. There's not that much going on. I think that could be more like some boost or whatever. But yeah, it's a very good Bowser Castle, and I think it's deserving of being the first Bowser Castle to get into Great Tier. And that's a good track as well. Good soundtrack, I mean. I've probably went behind Waluigi Pinball, you know, second row for the great tracks now. There's just so many great ones. Mushroom Bridge is just so fucking solid to race on now. But it's sitting at the top here, even though there's this whole line of 4. I do think all 4 of these surpass the Dash ones. Like, Easy Cruiser, it's just something like kind of like it's a bit rough at some parts, like the stabby bit, you know. Doesn't play the best. In this version, it's not as bad to race on still, but yeah, that's from his work. But it's so good that I managed to reach great, and it's not solid like the reason I've given like Wario saying one. Okay, still actually probably more like solid with the controls really. But yeah, I'm Bowser Castle. And now DS is Rainbow Road. It's okay. Isn't that exciting? No one knows because the GameCube Rainbow Road. It's not bad by any means. It's a decent layout. The most iconic part is like the loop-de-loops you go up, but you can't actually do anything with those. You can't like drift while you're on them or anything like that. I mean, I guess it's a like example of like an early use of anti-gravity in America. And you have like a few of those and some more turns. Some of it's sharp, but it's like it's a good blend of difficulty and like actually requiring actual skill. And it's not just broken. A lot of it has some railings as well. And yeah, it's just Rainbow Road. That's about it. So when there's so many good, unique themes, this one actually doesn't stand out that much, and it's only really memorable for the loops, which aren't actually interesting to go through or anything. So it's actually like probably a meh track. It's like a high meh. I want to say above Toad's Turnpike, like a high meh. But yeah, this is surprisingly one of the weakest of the Nitro tracks for DS, which is odd, at least in my opinion. There's not much going on. But now on to the retro tracks, which is gonna get interesting. Over 40 minutes in already, and we're only halfway through. Mario Circuit 1. It's Mario Circuit 1, and it's in 3D, so it's above this Mario Circuit. And with DS controls, where the drifting's there and whatnot, and you can it's you can appreciate the simplicity a bit more. Now that you can like drift around and stuff, like simple tracks by this point end up having like their own charm in a way. Now that the just core gameplay is good enough, so yeah. I'm actually gonna put it above the GBA Mario 6. I think it has a better layout. I do think just DS. Mario Circuit 1. Nothing's there, and it's a good start. Next we have Moo Moo Farm. It's the one 3D track. To be in the worst tracks, well, actually no, because the circuit tracks. The one non-circuit 3D track. God. Yeah, it's just a ring. Might as well call it Moo Moo Circuit. It's they don't really do anything to this version. Yeah, but it plays better on DS. And I think the bumps are a lot nicer. They're actually like kind of neat. To go over, get some like crazy height at some points. It's strange. So I think it's like, actually DS move on. It doesn't really do anything, but DS is like more improved gameplay. Is like it fits the track more with like the drifting and stuff. It's just really good to drift on, and again, I love DS drifting. I think it escapes the worst tier, just barely. Now, because there's not really any changes, I'm not going to put it any higher. But yeah, I do think DS's core gameplay has saved DS Moo Moo Farm. DS's version of it, I mean. Now we got Peach Circuit, and this does fucking nothing for Peach Circuit. It is still boring as fuck. And playing the DS version recently made me realise Peach Circuit is boring as fuck. And now we've got the Anacup, because there's nothing else I can say about this one, it's boring. So we're going straight to the next track, which is Luigi Circuit for a Double Dash. Again, my favourite circuit track. This one is still good, and because you still got a joint path, it still encapsulates the main thing from Luigi Circuit. But you'll notice this with like all the Double Dash tracks, really, they remove stuff. They got like the side path, it's removed for like where you go behind and change them. Now all the off-road's still there, and I guess they removed just because there's no point, and you can just go off-road. So that's not too bad. And they also removed the other one on the other side. Which is unfortunate. The double pass is good for like drifting on. Like the removals, they don't really break the track. What is needed for Luigi Circuit is still there, and probably the shortcut stuff only kind of works for Double Dash, even though it's questionable. But I'd rather like make use of like features, like improve them, make them work in the old version of the game rather than just outright remove them. In my opinion, but yeah, it doesn't ruin the track or anything. Unlike another track which we'll get to. So yeah, it's just a slightly weaker version of GameCube's WG Circuit. And then got Donut Plains 1, which sure is Donut Plains. And it's meh, but they're really nice to drive on. I actually do quite enjoy it again because drifting, good turns. Like I mentioned in the first episode of this tier list, Donut Plains, like all of them have like really decent layouts. So yeah, it's quite fun to go over. I think it beats all the Donut Plains, even though 1 is not as good as 3 layout wise. I still think it's more fun to drive on. Version, Donut Plains 3. So yeah, good on you, Donut Plains. Now I got Frappe Snowland. And this is actually one that I think is inferior to the N64 counterpart. Like, for a few reasons, I have so much nostalgia for this track that I was very disappointed when I went back to it. One, the off-road is really strict, because, like, obviously surrounding it's just a bunch of snow. They are, like, to know which bit counts as off-road, it's, like, it's kind of darker snow, but yeah, if you just slightly touch it, you just get sent flying up. So the off-road potential is less than that. And N64 still had this, I don't know why I just didn't just like chuck in like a fence or something to just instead of this like out of bounds bullshit. But yeah, when there's like so much snow there should be more off-road potential. And DS just like takes away from it even more. So, and now the snowmen, they make you drop your items as well as fucking murdering you. The Frappe Snowland snowmen, they're still everywhere. They're still obnoxious. They still like fucking cripple you and then mug you simultaneously. Like why they're just snowmen. Why are they the most ruthless obstacle in this fucking game? They're just snowmen. And you got like the typical like statue stuff. You got like anything that's like a fit snow shocker pass one. Actually no, I think it's Sherbetland. Never mind, Sherbetland's a lot better than Frappe Snowland. Cry about it. Double Dash 1 is N64 Sherbetland's dog shit. But yeah, this one's just an inferior version of N64 Frappe Snowland, which I put in solid. I quite liked it. This one though is a low meh. I don't think it's like completely ruined, but it's a big downgrade and it's very noticeable after just playing the classic one. I think it's better like Mario Circus and stuff. Well, at least these ones. I'm actually gonna put it behind DoorDash and DS's Mario Circuit because those are a lot better to drive on. So it's unfortunate. Probably soon. Unfortunately, it's certainly not coming into the boost score fast because we've already got GBA Snowland, which is just somehow managed to overshadow Frappe Snowland, which could on GBA Snowland. That's kind of based. Next we got Bowser Castle. Which number is this? It's a GBA Bowser Castle. I can't remember which fucking number it is. But it's actually quite fun. You got like a lot of jump stuff. The jumps I can appreciate a lot more. It being in 3D helps a lot. And obviously this is the first example of a 3D version of the 2D style Bowser Castle, which helps a ton because before it's kind of nice for things were confusing. The jumps obviously aren't as good in that game than this one. There's a lot of speed ramps and stuff. They didn't change much, but just being in the 3D style and with DS's like solid core gameplay, it helps this a lot. And established that every game in Retro Tracks needs to have a classic Bowser Castle. So I don't know where I put the other ones. I think, yeah, they're in here. I think this one goes to solid. It's like obviously N64 Bowser Castle a lot better theming. But I think it's a lot better to drive on than that. So remember that logic, I'll chuck it in between that and GameCube's Bowser Castle. It's just a very good one and probably one of the better Retro Tracks in DS. Even though again it didn't change much. Now here's the next GameCube track. Baby Park. So Some changes here. It's only 5 laps now. Because of like the item pool in DS is way less chaotic. And they made the track a bit bigger. Like it's a bit longer for some reason. In length. Like they literally upscaled the track for some reason. Hence them shortening the laps. That felt unnecessary. The point of Baby Park is that's long. And that like it's quick, hence why you need like so many fucking laps. Obviously graphically it's not as good as Double Dash really. So yeah, it doesn't do any upgrades visually. It's just a downgraded version. Again, the Double Dash remakes in this game are just slight downgrades, but this one feels more harmful. Like this no longer feels like it doesn't invite the chaoticness of classic Baby Park. So this goes from being like, oh my god, so simple yet so effective, to hey, this track is basic as fuck. And I still think it like it still partially maintains, the Baby Park charm, because it's still a quick track. But yeah, it's nowhere near reverting as the two other variants of this. So and because of that, it just does become a simple track, and therefore I'm gonna actually drop it quite low to meh tier. Even though, again, it's not much different. It just doesn't work that well in this game. And like paired with like the changes they made, it's not good. It does not do any favors. It wasn't a good pick, I don't think. Hell, maybe they should have stuck with GameCube Mario Sega being a remake after all. But yeah, it's probably above these. Behind Yoshi Falls, I think. Yoshi Falls is the best overall track in this game. So yeah, that's a big drop. I don't think I'm gonna see that with any other retro track really, where it drops from best to meh. That is, actually no, there is one more. But now you got Koopa Troopa Beach 2, and it's very faithful remake. It's easier to tell, like, but still, it's a very difficult track, and it's kind of frustrating at parts. Like, I feel like this one needed a remake later than this one to like. Like, I still think this concept of like you can go in the water, but it's like parts that are like deeper. I don't think this one really fulfilled it. It's definitely an improvement, but it's still frustrating at parts. The off-road stuff, there's a lot of like off-road stuff, which is nice. Some mushrooms, and I think with like Mario Kart, yes, and drifting, so great. They added like a lot. It feels like a lot of like other balance, like with the water stuff. That like it becomes like impossible to avoid in certain routes, like if you just turn at all at the wrong spot, you are going in. So that doesn't become like a good difficulty; it just becomes frustrating, which is unfortunate because I do like this track. I still want to drive on, but yeah, it can be frustrating, and I still think the potential like the water stuff is like missed, and I still find it interesting. Like this doesn't really matter the track itself, but. You have like the main road bit. Like when you start a lap track, you have like the main road bit, and then you go fast track. Because you're just doing circles, really, you don't actually go back to that main bit. Like it's surrounded by off road, so where you started the race, like you don't go back to that bit, even though it's part of the track, which is just a neat little thing. I don't know. It's something unique, I guess. Which again is like another reason why I like track. It's a very unique but simple idea. I just don't think this was. I don't think this is the remake that like really fixes it, And again, no DS retro track really fixes anything because it doesn't really change anything. Whatever changes they make, it's just removals from Double Dash, really. Obviously, the core gameplay of DS does improve this one, and visually it's better because it's in 3D. So yeah, I will knock it above. I'd even say it plays better than Koopa Troopa Beach, actually, from N64. Again, even though I still gripes with the gameplay of this one. So yeah, next is Shotgun Mountain from N64. This is Shotgun Mountain. It's good. It's quite good. Nothing wrong with the remake. It's just very faithful. Doesn't change anything. Didn't have to. It's already a solid track. So yeah, I think it's actually gonna go in the slot tier of a lot of the OTS tracks. Again, one of the best retro tracks in my opinion. Just because Truckin' Mountain was already a solid track. And I think it's just better to drive on in DS and N64, hence me just putting it slightly over Truckin' Mountain in this game. So yeah, it's good to drift on and stuff. It's a very good layout, and I like the theming, of course. Now we got GBA Luigi Circuit, and again, I do think it's a decent layout. It being a 3D, it doesn't really count much, you know. It like it's faithful to the original in terms of like the thing, like it's raining and shit. Got the puddles, got the offer, so same as Luigi Circuit and GBA, right? But yeah, but like we like the improved drifting and whatnot, you know, like the 3D Mario Karts. It's a lot more fun to drive on. I don't know where I put Luigi Circuit. I'm guessing it was in a good spot because I think it was good. Okay, this is it. So let's see here. I think it's a lot better drive on than Mario Circuit in this game. Both Mario Circuits here. We'll chuck it above Baby Park. Yeah, I think Extra Force is a bit better. Yeah, it's a very solid circuit track to drive on. And yeah, for not changing anything, I just think it plays in to a lot of DS's strong points with the core gameplay, which therefore just makes a better experience. So yeah, next we got Mushroom Bridge. Look how they massacred my boy. What the fuck did they do to this track? You can't drive on the sidewalk anymore. That thing's completely railed off. Park with rails. You can't do like a little shortcut that goes to the side. Even though the cannon that shoots you out is still there, they actively put it on the track as a background detail. So that's lame as fuck. And they also, the other thing, they put railings blocking you from doing the bridge shortcut, you know, the main appeal. And again, this track, what, like I said, it was Shroom Ridge. Shroom, like, very good, like, to drift around the carts in this game. The carts themselves, like, the car vehicle obstacles themselves, are nowhere near as creative as Double Dashes. They're just typical cars and trucks, whereas Double Dash have shit like a caterpillar car, like a caterpillar bus or whatever, and like a bomb. So that would make things a lot more interesting. Those on there, they just use what they use for Shroom Ridge. And while those work for Shroom Ridge, I don't really work for this, especially when they took out like the unique stuff here. So this just ends up being like a shitty Shroom Ridge, you know, where you go through one turn and you got like a cool shortcut, like they kept like the mushroom shortcut, and that's about it. Besides that, it's just a regular track that has the vehicle stuff for Shroom Ridge. So if I want an experience like that, I'm just going to pick Shroom Ridge in this game. They butchered this track so bad. And while I still think because the layout's alright, I still like drifting through like the vehicles and stuff. I like the shortcut. The thing is, they just removed so many stuff that it becomes a bad track. It's not one of the worst. It's still fun. But holy fuck. Well, fun is a stretch, but it's still alright to drive on. It's a high one here, you know. Yeah, we'll stick it behind TikTok clock. I think it uses. But yeah, rough, very rough recreation. You jump from great to being bad. Freaking bad. As we got Shadow Island 2. Again, if we waited one more game with this, then we would have had a really phenomenal version of this track. Because this track has so many like bumps from like the chocolate bar bumps that, you know, like the potential of like being able to trick off that in like Wii or any game after is so good. There's one SNES track slot left in the Boost Course Pass. Make it Choco Island 2 or 1. Both are fine. I think 2's a bit better layout-wise, but yeah. It's not more like the muddy section actually, like the fucking chocolate syrup thing that like slows you down a bit. I think it works the same way as Luigi Mansion Mud. But it's neat, I guess. It's got the Mario Circuit thing where like you have the piranha plants, but they're just chilling off road, so they don't do anything. So yeah, because yeah, it's just whatever. Because I think the Mario Kart 8 ones that like literally just pop their head out and just bite you if you get near them. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But yeah, DS it really shines with like the free stuff. The graphic improvement. Now this one's very important. Obviously, the graphics for the DS is still pixelated. You haven't made that well. But this track has now become like my eyes. They can see without being hurt. They made so the off road isn't a fucking eyesore anymore. Like they kept like all the details like the off road bit, but they didn't make it like such a mess. So it's good. It's a good track and it's noticeably improved from being a modern game. But we just need it in a game where you can trick off all those chocolate bar stuff. That'd be so cool. There's a lot of like obviously off-road stuff, including like a shortcut where you go between some blocks, I think. So yeah, this is no longer in the worst tier, because the only reason it's in the worst tier before wasn't just like the layout or anything. It was because I was a fucking eyesore. This one ain't, and the core DS gaming makes it boring to drive on. So you know what? This is the best SNES track that we got so far. Which is a variation of it. I even like Bowser Castle. Here, the red tracks. Not much has changed, but it just shines from being in this game. Even if you circuit from GBH to some extent, albeit this one gives a lot. I think it's a solid track. I think it's like but where do I stick it is the question. I think I don't think it's a high solid track. I think it about reaches solid tier. Do we just say it's better than the 2D ones? I'm thinking here. You know, fuck it, yeah. We'll just do it like that. That makes sense. You know, I'd rather drive on like the 3D track than 2D ones. Again, it just because it's such a smooth thing. I do think the idea of like a Shock of Ireland is still a good theme, despite obviously being simple because it's an SNES track. So yeah, I do think like some of the like a lot of these they have good layouts and like good themes. That make them reach solid tier despite the limitations of being in a 2D Mario Kart. Yeah, we'll go with that. Next is Banshee Boardwalk, and this is another track that's improved quite a lot, which is great. It didn't really change much. Like you have some different routes in like the weird like broken pathway. Like you can go to the left, which is slower, but also you can avoid the bats doing that. And you can even like jump over like some of the cracks in the ground to like get some like cool skips. Like that's cool. I think parts of the board they're still too thin, which means you like find yourself a lot of stuff. I like the big cheap that just like that stuff. It's not cheap. It's like the other one, the other fish, the big one that eats you. You know what it is. It's cool. I think it's fun when they show up. There's just like a lot of detail. They don't actually do anything, but it adds a lot of charm to the track. Besides just being a ball track with like some ruins. The ruin section is a lot better. So I think that pushes it up to solid. Even though, again, I still think the track should have been a bit wider, and I still think there's not too much going on. Like maybe add some boost panels. You know, the boost panels are rainbow colours in this game, which I like, but also it clashes with like tracks that have theme like this. But yeah, it's like I'd put it here. Of Chocolate Island, but yeah, again, it's still quite low on a solid track scale. So yeah, look at that. We still got a couple more left. GBA Sky Gardens. It's perfectly fine. I like DS more. Like the shortcuts for this one, they're unique, but also hard to do because I think one you have to like manually jump while doing an off-road mushroom boost. I think if I remember correctly. I think it looks good. I think the colours are nice, obviously, on the ground. I think it's shown a lot better being in a 3D one. And yeah, again, I like the layout of Sky Garden. So yeah, I think it's decent. I don't think it's enough to like suddenly make it like anywhere like higher than where I put Sky Garden, but I like DS. I like racing on the DS version a bit more. So yeah, we'll stick it just above that. I think that's fair. And lastly, we have Yoshi Circuit, and they removed like the shortcut thing, which I don't really care about myself. Like, as long as the waterfall shortcut's still there, it's still a solid track. Not half-pro potential and everything. Obviously shaped like a Yoshi. We've covered all this in DoorDash. I just really like the circuit track, and yeah, it's about equal to DoorDash, but I'll put it behind DoorDash just because DoorDash has the additional shortcut. You know, I don't think that matters too much. So yeah, it's harmless recreation. And it introduced me to the track, and I loved it. So yeah, again, it's like the beach circuit, but there's like some different routes that are removed, but they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, there we are, guys. In the list, if we go over here, in addition to the best tracks, this will definitely be the very best of the best only. I think Baby Park and Edge of Porches. I'm having a placement so far. I might have to reuse it. I guess there's some of the other tracks. So I think in the Great Tier we got some potential candidates. But yeah, Great Tier has grown a lot. So our Tier 2, the Meh Tier, got a few power tracks, and this one. Every tier has grown. Every tier has grown in this video, because DS just has a fucking bonkers variety of tracks from good to bad. Yeah, next episode we got the Wii, which I think also has like a mixed bag of stuff, honestly. So it'll be interesting to cover in the next one. So yeah, here's the list again. Thank you for watching, everyone. We've gone over an hour for this episode. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.